gotta be honest. Shouldn't feel this type of way. Hey, thought it would never be this way. Seems like can't get you out of my head. And honestly, lately, I've been feeding these spirits in defeat. They keep telling me this and telling me that. Got something for you. Matter of fact, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. Yeah, I know he's undefeated. Y'all been coming at me. Now it's time, round 3. I plead the blood of the risen King over my mind, rebuking these lies. Cause I am loved, I am cared for, I am his, therefore I am free. Yeah, free indeed.
Oh, what's going on, y'all? Hey, we are back. We are back. We are back. We are back. Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning, man, and welcome to Real Talk with your boy MRK. Coffee in the morning, man. I hope y'all guys got y'all coffee. I got my coffee. Got your coffee, James?
Bam.
Hey, I am your host, Martez Raphael Kirkland, and this is James Dale Merchant, co-host. Everything. So I thought he was gonna come on in today.
My bad, man. I think you caught me this morning.
Oh, it's all good though, man. Hey, that's why we gotta have our coffee in the morning, man.
Yeah.
So man, come on in, man. Come on in, man.
There we go.
Hey, how's everybody doing out there, man? How's everybody doing, man? We got a good show for you guys today. You know, we got the topic, the hot topic of the day, the question of the day. Of course, we're gonna go right into the morning inspiration. All right, we're gonna try to inspire you guys, inspire you ladies, inspire, you know what I'm saying? Inspire the world, man. That's what we're gonna try to do. And you know what we do with the inspiration? I pick a quote, especially because it's February, Black History Month.
Yeah. So
we're gonna definitely highlight and put the spotlight on all the Black people that have influenced the world. And today's quote comes from and by Muhammad Ali, you know, the great Muhammad Ali. He is the greatest of all time, you know what I'm saying? So, and he stated, right, in his quote, he who is not courageous enough to take risks will accomplish nothing in life. He who is courageous enough to take risks who is not courageous enough to take risks will accomplish nothing in life. And I'm gonna be honest, when I was scrolling through the quotes, this one stood out to me because we talk about real stuff here, right? Life experiences, day-to-day things that we encounter. And I had a friend yesterday I was talking about just being able to put yourself in uncomfortable situations so you can be able to grow, become better, be able to accomplish things in your life. And being courageous is a part of that. If you don't have the courage to be able to step out of your comfort zone, it will be hard for you to honestly change your outcome, your circumstances, change, you know what I'm saying, things for the better, obtain things in your life. And you got to have a little bit of courage, you know what I'm saying, to do those things. And one of the things was I was speaking to a young man yesterday on a college visit, and he was saying that one of his the major that he wanted to major in is public speaking and communications. And when he was younger, he had a fear of speaking in front of people. Wow. He wasn't very confident to be able to speak in front of people. You know, that was one of his insecurities. And I too had the same thing. I remember even joining the Army. The Army is a place where you can't hide from speaking, especially if you're trying to go up in rank and positioning. They're going to throw you in positions of where you have to be able to speak, and you have to be able to articulate and communicate with others in a form of in front of people. So I remember taking on jobs that I had to do that. Being a retention NCO, the retention is you help keep the soldiers in the Army. Being an equal opportunity representative, because you have to get classes. So I wanted to do those things because I knew it would help me with my public speaking, help me get over that fear. It was a fear of mine. And I threw myself in the fire, and I was explaining to the young man of, you know, the choice that I made, and, you know, just by taking that leap of faith, putting myself in that situation so I could be able to hopefully become a better public speaker and not have those type of fears. You're going to be nervous. That's just a human thing that you go to as far as being human. But that helped me grow. It helped me be able to move on further and in my career to be able to give classes and teach. And I mean, also coach, because coaching, you have to speak in front of the players, you have to teach. So it propelled me on things that I didn't even know would help me with. And that right there, for anybody, whatever it is in your life, you got to have some type of courage. You have to be courageous when you are stepping out and doing these things. You're not going to be able to grow. If there's no type of courage, you're not going to be able to accomplish these things in your life. So, hey, if you are that person that has these fears and you're scared or what somebody think, then when you start to care too much of others' opinions, it's going to stifle you from being able to accomplish those things or being able to honestly see what your potential is, right? Because you don't never want to limit yourself. So find that way to develop that courage to be able to step out on the leap of faith so you can be able to be better, man. What do you think, James?
Nah, man, I think that's right on point, bro. Even in the Bible, the proverb says that it's a dangerous place to be concerned what people think about you.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's actually a proverb, man. So like
the prophet James, he be speaking, man. He taught me something new, man.
Bro, like so
say that again. Say that again.
It says that, man. Matter of fact, just so I don't, I'm kind of
misquoted.
I'm kind of, as they say, paraphrasing it. But with all that being said, within side, I want to make sure this put it up. But as I think we all know, there's a nationwide service outage. So I think that my net,
I think that's AT&T.
Is it not us though?
Is it AT&T or is it us too? I got Verizon.
I got Verizon too.
I better go check y'all service.
Check the service. Oh, here we go. It popped up.
You got it, man. Okay.
Proverbs 29:25 says it is dangerous to be concerned with what others think of you, but if you trust in the Lord, you're safe. So
it is dangerous to be in a place to think of what others think of you.
Yeah, it's paralyzing. It's paralyzing because I think, as a matter of fact, I can be honest and be transparent on here and say I struggled with that for a while, is wondering what people would think of me if, I stepped out and did X, Y, and Z or whatever, but that had to get under control. Yeah, it stifles you because you like, I've actually looked at people or listened to interviews from people who did things, whether it was write a book or so, and they would say, yeah, man, I lived in fear for 6 years before I wrote this book.
Because you're wondering what people are going to think of
how
you,
they're going to look
at you, how they're going to see you, how they're going to view you. And
you're
right, man. When I was younger, that was my thought process of that.
Yeah.
When I was younger, as far as if I did this or if I wore this or if I said this.
Right. It starts early, right?
Whatever, it starts early. Yeah. But through my adversities that I have been through that were pretty much embarrassing, honestly, I got over it. I mean, because life takes its toll. You go down a path that sometimes you never thought you would go down. You never thought that these things would happen to you. You never thought that you would be the one going through it. And you're going through it, and now people are looking at you. They're judging you. They're talking about you, quote unquote, behind your back in their small pockets. And I had to realize that I need to stop living in fear, stop caring about so much of what other people think of me, and just do it.
Yeah.
And just be me. And when I started to be that, I was able to be more free, more confident, more secure with who I am, and honestly happy.
Because you're numb, you're numb to people's opinions at this point. It's like not that you and I think that's where we have to grow to that place. A mentor that I had said that in order for him to grow, God had to baptize him into the death of the opinions of others.
And man, he's gonna have to say that again, bro.
He said he had
Prophet James, man. I'm gonna call him that, man. Say it again, my brother.
He said that in order for him to grow and get to the point that he needed to get to, God had to baptize him through the negative opinions of others, so that way he could be dead to be dead to those things. So he had to be, basically he had to go real deep into that negative place. He like just got saturated in all these negative opinions of people. Finally, he just died to him. He said,
"Yeah, because."
And then it's like you can't hurt me.
Yeah, because the people opinions and these thoughts that you're thinking about of how they're thinking about you, they're like little voices in your head that are going like, "What do you think that this person's gonna say this? What are my mom gonna think? What are my friends gonna think? What are my coworkers gonna think?" And everything.
Yeah.
And when you get to a place where and say, "I don't care what they think. I'm going to be me. I'm going to do this," because especially when you know that you're walking in the way that God has inspired you to walk in,
right,
and guide you. There's no care in the world. Like, I do not honestly care. As of right now, there's people probably judging, viewing, talking, wondering about what is Martez doing with a podcast. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
What is Martez? What he does, music. But at the end of the day, I think we talked about it on a podcast before. We only allow people to know what we want them to know of us, and everything ain't for you to see. Because I feel when you allow people in the things that are so closely to you, the devil has a way of sinking in and trying to destroy those things. So I keep the noise out and I keep things to myself, and I allow it to be cast out or displayed when I feel ready. So hey, I like that, man. When you're thinking about what people think of you and everything, it is a fear. It stifles you from being able to go out there, jump out on a leap of faith, being courageous.
Yeah. It keeps you from being courageous.
It keeps you from being courageous. Absolutely. So man, absolutely, man. And so that's the quote, morning inspiration. We hope that we have given you some type of
good this morning.
I don't like
some
inspiration with that. He who is not courageous enough to take risks will accomplish nothing in life. And that was Muhammad Ali. Float like a butterfly,
sting like a bee. Yes, sir.
All right, let's go ahead and move on, y'all, to the shout out of the day. The shout out of the day goes to all high school seniors embarking on graduating and taking the next steps in their lives. All right. And again, I'll share my real life experience. I was, I coach AAU basketball and college level basketball. I had one of the players. I had the opportunity to go on one of his college visits yesterday. And just seeing someone go through the experience besides my kids. I have 3 older kids, ages 24, 22, and 19. And all of them have went through the process of going to college, whatever level of college. And it's different when you're not the parent of that student. And to see that, it to take place was like, wow. I ain't gonna lie, it's like the world is theirs. The you know, when they get ready to step out, you know, and leave high school and under the wing of their parents and their mom, their dad, their grandmother, or whoever their guardian are, it's enlightening, man. It's pretty cool to see. And then you see the it's two things: the light bulb go off, the deer in the headlights, they're in this different type of matrix because they're learning truthfully now how to become what? An adult that is independent, young adult that's independent on their own, and mom, dad is not going to be there to guide them for every decision that they may have to make, which it will be on their own. Yeah. So I just want to give a shout out to every high school student, senior student that's embarking on graduating, that's going through that process. Even though that y'all be like, man, they old, what do they remember? I do remember that. Yeah. I just remember this existing in this place. Like, man, I'm about to graduate and I'm grown now, and now what do I do?
But, man. I remember the first it was a surreal experience once I graduated, Kurt, and I woke up after that summer had went by after graduation, and then the next school year comes by, and I was sitting on my mother's couch, and I heard the bus come by, and I realized I wouldn't get on it. Like, that was a real
that first summer without going back to school. Yeah.
And then when that bus came and I heard it,
weird.
It was so surreal. It was like, I don't go there. I don't go to this place no more. What do I do? I was like, wow.
You're absolutely right about that, man.
Go ahead.
You go through all those first. It's like, so it don't really hit you until then. Like, it don't really that the bus, or you start to see the kids in the neighborhood either going to the bus stop or getting in their cars or going to school, and you're not doing it. And you're like, either you're waiting, I guess, to start college, because usually I believe it depends on the college you go to. But I know the college I went to, it started later.
Yeah.
And I remember my brothers, because I was still at home, and I remember my brothers going off to school and I didn't go. And it was weird. I remember not like having school shopping or whatever, and it was just different. It's like, I'm an adult now, grown. But then I was like, do I really want this? Do I really want to do this? Because I had to work.
Yep.
I was working at Burger King. I remember working at Burger King. I was working at Burger King full time, and I was going to school. I was community college full time. What an idiot! Why did I do that? Like, if you ever went to college, I was going to school full time and I was working full time, and that was I was ambitious. I wanted to do. When you're in that place, it's like you want to do everything and anything, but you don't know how to do nothing.
Yeah.
You want to do anything, and you think you know, you think you got this plan formulated in your mind, and nothing goes well or goes right.
I didn't have no plan, bro.
I think you told me.
I didn't have no plan. I was just out there. It was like, I said, I guess I better get a job. So I got a job. I worked at a telecommunications company. Yeah, wow. I feel like this shows age, but this is when the internet first took off. We were salesmen. We would call companies and offer them a chance to get their own website to advertise their business for free, like a trial basis.
Oh wow!
So yeah, this is when the internet first took off, and businesses were like, you call them and be like, I heard about this internet thing, so what that's gonna do for me? I mean, wow. You think about it now, every business has a web page. Back then, this is when we were convincing business owners
this is gonna work. This is gonna be big.
Yeah, small business owners like, trust me, you want to put your coin here, and they were like, some will be like, nah, forget that. We don't need. I ain't had no website, and then other ones be like, yeah, So anyway,
man,
that's
man.
I didn't have a plan. I just knew it was time to work. So I do salute you guys, because
my plan was, I'm not going in the military. Well, we see how that worked out. I really was like, I ain't going in the Army. I ain't going in the Marine Corps. My dad was a retired Marine. I said, I'm gonna end up at. But you know what? It was no pushing on my parents or anything. I actually just came to a conclusion like, yeah, this is probably the best step that I need to make. I'm telling you, this is after going to college. I was just doing everything. I went to college. Like I said, I was working. I left and kind of got kicked out of my mom and dad's house and went to stay with my boys. And that experience right there. We was in a trailer and we was taking in some substance. And I was like, it lasted for like 4 weeks. It lasted for like 4 weeks. And I was like, I'm looking at them. I was like, this can't be my life after like high school.
Yeah.
So really, I was like, let me get on that phone, like, hey, mom, dad, like, I need to get out of here. This ain't it. I gotta go back home. Yeah. And so I eventually came back home, but then it was like, I can't be home that long because these old people getting on my nerves.
So the tension, that's such a tension, right? Like it's like I want to leave, but I don't know what to do. But then I can't stay. This ain't working. This ain't working. Oh, trust me, bro. I remember. I think I got like at one point maybe depressed because I got this journal and it was just like I woke up this morning. Nothing's changed. I'm still here at the house. And I was like, the days go long, don't they? The days go real long. Like I'll just be sitting there watching TV, just kind of like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do right now. I'm a bum. Yeah, I'm a bum. Like this sucks.
So that's why, like, when you in high school, especially if you was the man or the girl, you played football, you played sport, you was just that popular dude, or you had high school gives you more of a social life.
It does.
You find out once after high school, especially if you don't go to college, like how lonely the world is, and how you're just like basically by yourself. You're by yourself trying to figure it out. But so again, man, shout out to the day.
Get you.
Shout out to y'all, man. All the seniors embarking on graduating and taking that next step in your lives, man. So, man, we're gonna go to the next thing, man. Man, I guess I'm gonna do it, man. I'm gonna go ahead and go to it and bring it up to Poets Corner, man. And
do it.
You know, we are poets, artists, creative minds, me, James, and everything, and you know, we're busy minds because we're Geminis and stuff like that. So this is something that we always thinking, man. In the Poets Corner, man, the other day, which was on Tuesday, Langston Hughes was the highlight for the Poets Corner. I too was the poem that I recited from Langston Hughes and everything. And so I hope you guys go back and check out the podcast and when I explained about the I too and what it meant and what I got from it. So now this poem is by me, Martez Kirkland, and I wrote it yesterday. Nice. And truthfully, it would go on the album that, if you don't know, that I'm working on, and hopefully it should be out at the end of this year, closely. So hey, you never know, we might have a guest appearance by feature by James. You never know. But anyways, hey, so I don't really have it title, but it's a writing that I just got inspired by. I didn't even have a focus to write it. It just came as I was listening to some music. I was listening to a beat that my brother made for me, which is John Doe, other known as Denzel Richardson, producer, poet, artist, and everything, man. He's really, really dope, independent producer and artist. Go check out John Doe, the Reflections LP. It's on Apple's too. Always gotta give him a shout out. So bear with me if I get through it. I want you guys to really just take it in. It's not very long, but here it is. Expressions of my feelings and the hidden love that's special and healing from the soul above. I know I will grow for him to take control, so I can let him reach my spirit to open up to a road and a journey that will take me up to the Lord above, my confidant. No longer hiding my faith, but I'm enlightened by the words and guided by the direction of the Holy Son, sharing my testimony that there can only be one God that can carry me through the darkness of time, helping me define all the odds that are against me, my purpose. As I walk through this life, I'm searching and praying that I see the light, that Jesus Christ, he is my life. And he is what's right. He is what's right that I'm praying. meditating and saying, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. You, Lord, is who I will honor. So that was a piece that I
As the poets,
I guess we do that right.
Yeah, man.
That's a piece that I wrote yesterday, man. And of course, it'll be portrayed on the track a little bit differently and everything, the chorus and the beat and the delivery and the harmonizing and all that good stuff. So that's just something that I'm writing. So I get to take you guys into the actual lyrics and stuff. So that was just something that was just God put on my heart to write. I literally, and a lot of my writings are, I guess, can be sometimes premeditated and thought out, but it wasn't really thought out. It was just pen in hand or thumb in hand, with the phone, and I was just typing in my phone, and it was just coming out. So I felt like God was in He was enlightening my mind, my spirit, and He put that in me to write. So y'all go ahead and you can go back and rewind it and listen to it and stuff. So, but hey, honestly, the song that is going to be with those with that verse or with that saying, that writing, it's going to be called Reborn, because the album is called Broken Silence. The Truth Be Told. And it's nearly more of a Christian rap album or hip. It's music and everything. I really don't want to put it into an actual genre. Whatever it is that comes out. But that track is going to be called Reborn. And so check it out, man. So James, man, I don't know, James, man, he may have something. He always got a prophetic word, man. So what you got, man? For the Poet's Corner, brother.
The Poet's Corner, man. Not this time. I hit you with some stuff yesterday.
Yeah, he did. He can hit me with it again.
That it's still so fresh. It don't even like.
Man, you good, bro?
Yeah, I'm
trying to get it.
You trying to get me out there.
It can be rough. Hey, sometimes the rawness is even better because everything got.
He's really enticing me. You know what? Why don't we just throw it out there?
Go ahead.
This is not a finished product, by the way.
Hey, let's do it, bro.
Let's see what we got here.
Call it a Poet's Corner, man.
Right now, so this came out. I was working on an instrumental that I had heard, and right now I'm probably going to. It's looking like I'm gonna title this Processing, because like you already said, like especially me and you, we have those mind like we're constantly thinking, constantly trying to whether it's evaluating the situation or just processing emotions,
Always trying to elevate.
Or even just contemplating how to have new ways of thinking.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it was just the beginning. Like I said, this is real rough. So, but it's like, as I ride under city lights, it's close to midnight. The bells in my mind ring, what will time bring? Probably more situations and more things, but my thing is one day I'll die and see the king. I've seen life, a culmination of red and green lights. I had to learn how to use that break to guide right. Is my mind right? Have I really processed all the things I've been through? And if I did I really do it with you? That's
the Poet's Corner.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, baby, James Dale, man. I'm telling you, he didn't want to do that. He didn't want to do it.
Not at first, but it was kind of like, you know what? This is what it is, bro. This is for, right?
Hey, understand this: in the Poet's Corner or in a circle of writing, in a circle of expression, there's nothing that is really truthfully wrong.
There's no right or wrong answer.
It's just like it's art.
Right.
That's what artists and artistically people are. They draw, they create songs. There's no right or wrong. It's an expression it's from the mind, it's from the soul. And hey, love it, man. I love it, man. Hey, it's only gonna get better, man.
I think so. I know so.
So again, man, who knows?
Hey.
Might see a feature.
Hey.
Man, so that's the Poet's Corner for today.
Very nice.
All right, we're gonna move on to this is a great segue to move into the point of view. James speaks the truth, y'all. Here we go.
All right. So what I'm gonna say, it is a good segue. So the first thing I can say really is an echo of what we've been talking about, and that's gonna be don't how I say this, do what sounds right. Do what is in you. Don't do what's in somebody else. And what I mean by that, there was an artist and this is, I'm speaking this from specifically, I'm really specifically speaking to our young, whether influencers, whether it's, artists out there, poets, writers, musicians, that this is who I'm speaking. You're who I'm actually speaking to right now. And so make and do what sounds right to you. And what a lot, and it goes back, it really ties back into being courageous, not being fearful. I remember listening to a jazz artist once, legendary. I wish I had the dude's name right now. I don't know how I even forgot it, but I did. So, but anyway, this one legendary jazz artist, they were asking like, how did you get, the unique sound that you have with the guitar? And he was just like, well, he was like, when I made music, I really just got to a point where I just played what sounded good to me. I stopped concentrating on, making music that appealed to anybody. He's just like, if it don't, he's like, and he said that was his approach to every song that he wrote was, does this sound good to me? Like, would I put it, like, if I heard this, would I, or if I heard it, would I go and pick this up off the shelf? And I think that's a lot of times where a lot of young artists get stifled at is, thinking that they need to, whatever they're doing needs to be appealing. Ooh, man, that almost, this almost goes into a lot of other pockets outside of artists, but I'll just, but it's like, I don't need it to be appealing. It just needs to be true to who I am and what I have to say. And so do that for yourself. Whatever you're aspiring to do, again, like I say, I'm initially speaking to, young artists, musicians, poets, whatever faucet that you're in that vein. But, do whatever you're doing, make sure it sounds right by you. And let the rest, the chips fly, let the chips fall where they will after that. And that's literally something I'm actually putting that into practice as it is now. It's like, what is it that I want to say? I don't want to say what anybody else wants to hear me say. I need to just say what I want to say. So that's what I'm putting out there. That's something to think about. Create and make and do what sounds and is right by you first.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
What got you to this point in your life to be able to think that and I honestly put that into action?
I've tried on a lot of shoes. And that's, that's just me metaphorically speaking, saying that, from teenage years, just moving on up, then you live life, and you're finding yourself, right? You're trying to figure out, who you are and what kind of,
that's a never-ending journey.
And that's a never-ending journey in and of itself. And to take a pit stop, I remember when I graduated basic training, my grandmother got me this little document holder that was like a little briefcase type thing, and inside of it I got it, and there was a little note. I still have it to this day, and it said, she had a Shakespeare quote. It said, "You're beginning to know thyself." And I'm saying that to say, over the years, like, it took a lot of heartache, because you recognize that, because it's human nature to want to be accepted.
Absolutely.
It's very human nature to want to be accepted. And so in seeking acceptance from whatever friend groups it was, and sometimes I generated a version of myself that really wasn't true to what I was, and a
false image of self.
Yeah, it's just a complete false image. And so you have to go through a lot of those, and that's why I say I tried on a lot of shoes, because that's metaphorically me saying those shoes represent, versions of myself that I realized I grew out of. and realized it wasn't really me. And then as you progress, you get older, you realize you don't have to. And matter of fact, I won't even say you don't realize you don't have to. You get tired of doing that. And then you finally just say, you know what? I think I'll just let it kind of all hang out at this point.
You become secure, and comfortable with who you are.
Yeah.
Who you became, and understand that the journey that you have had, it has brought you to where you're at today.
Yeah. And in some ways, so when I reflect, I don't always look at, trying on those different, scenarios as false. I was learning, adapting, you know what I mean? Because I remember watching a nature channel one time, and it was just showing and they use humans in this one. It was like, that's how a baby learns, is that a baby is actually, the reason why you see them put everything in their mouth, that's actually how they learn through sensory, is that they're constantly learning the texture of everything. That's how they're, it's like if I put this in my mouth, or this was hard, or this was sour, or this was sweet, in their mind, they're actually learning how to interact with their environment.
Wow, okay.
And so I can equate that to us as grown-ups. We're constantly learning how to interact with our environment.
Kevin, on your point of view, James, how does this, or how does the importance of parents teaching and allowing their children to learn and grow, how can it stifle their growth and exploring who they become and becoming creators and artists and just becoming and finding out who they are?
And it's almost like it's one of those things where when you say it, it's like, because I don't want to put a burden on parents, but
hey, sometimes that is our response. If it's part of our responsibility, but because I'm a parent, right? And the reason why I'm saying this is because every parent's worst fear is that they're gonna jack their kids up somehow. And that's every parent's fear. I've done it.
We all have. We've all had that mindset. Man, I'm jacking them up, right? But what I will say, to answer the question,
I said I've done it. I said I jacked my kids up,
and that's usually not true. But we think we are. But to answer your question and how important that is very important, because I look back on some of the approaches that we took to parenting, me and my wife, and I recognize, while our mindset was that we're doing it differently, we regurgitated a lot of stuff that we learned from our parents, and that wasn't really, and that wasn't helpful. And truth be told, but the question I think I had to answer, and it leads into your answer of how important is it? It's important that you know yourself before you have kids, because a lot of the stuff, reason why we retorted to what we saw our parents doing is because
we were kids ourselves, trying to raise kids.
Bingo. I didn't know who I was. So in a lot of ways, those gaps that I had that I didn't know how to fill in and how to, maybe go a different route with my kids, is because I was still learning myself and what I had to figure out on my own internals. So there was a lot of times that, it would kind of look like, sometimes my insecurities would get casted out there. Sometimes, and meaning I was afraid of how I would look, so I would enforce a rule, but I didn't enforce that rule because that rule really meant something. It was just because,
protect you.
Yeah, it was to protect me. It's like, because I don't want to look like a bad parent, so I'm going to make sure you don't do this or don't do that. And that was not, I can't say that was really the best way. I'm not going to say it was wrong.
Because I'm sorry to cut you off,
but fine, bro.
Kids, as they get older, sometimes they don't realize that we have been growing ourselves and learning and don't even know ourselves, and we're going through the human process of developing. So a lot of times they look at us like, well, you did this and you said this and you implemented this because you know what you was doing and you were a bad parent. It's not that I was a bad parent. I just did the things that's the only things that I knew how to
do. And no, that's important you say that, because so just to stay on track a little bit, to answer your question, it is important the things that we do, because we're informing our children. We're informing them what if they do this, we do that, and they're processing that in their own way. The good news on that is the good news on that is that for parents who consistently remain around, we have another chance. And that's called, when they get grown and they become adults, there's a transition process that's just honestly almost as vitally important, because we just talked about the seniors. Now they're learning the world. Now actually is the time for us to step back, allow them to interact and interface.
Let me interject right there.
So and then that way we can now meet them in a whole new way, and then be willing to even talk about those things that maybe they felt like we was like wrong on, or whatever the case is, or why did we do this and that.
So hold that
and
thought.
We can talk about
so hold that thought.
Send it.
That's James' point of view, y'all. And we're gonna go into the next segment, which is, how do we let go?
Wow.
And let your child grow up?
Just so you know why I'm saying that's wild. The way I am, I don't really like to get into the planning department. So I let this guy come up with the topics, and then, sometimes sometimes he'll get me in on. So if I need to kind of break it down, but usually it's just like a good
and
we like it organic over here. So
absolutely, man, nothing rehearsed.
Not a lot of prefab over here.
Absolutely. And,
maybe that don't work.
Hey, whatever comes out, what happens, it's all organic and it's all real.
Yes, sir.
So that's why I say what he was talking about. That's why I hold that thought. So now we go into how to let go and let your child grow up. Let's say that again. How, as parents, how do we let go and let our children grow up? I'm gonna say I wasn't a perfect parent. No, and I know there's a lot of parents out there like to believe that they were a perfect parent. There's no such thing as a perfect parent, because we are human, right? I don't care how, perfect you try to be, you're still not perfect, right? Because there's no perfect human being, right? No. I've had 3 kids that are young adults now, 24, 22, and 19. And I've had my trials, I have my tribulations, I've had my places to where I protected them and tried to cuddle them and protect them from the treacherous woes of the world and society that we live in, because the things that I've been through. Now it got to a place where I couldn't protect them no longer, nor in a way that I want to protect them, because some things happen in ways of rebellion, and then tough love comes in.
I figured out yourself.
And I try to buffer the road for you, or smooth it out for you and everything. So you want to go your way, and I'm telling you that don't go down that rabbit hole, because I know what's down that rabbit hole. And what I've learned is that's pretty much not the best way to be able to parent in a way, especially young adults. We was talking about it before we came on air. In a way, you have to kind of allow yourself, take your hand off the wheel as you teaching them how to drive, and let them steer themselves, and hope that everything that you have taught them, exposed them to, and placed them in will give them the best, put them in the best mindset to be able to make the best decisions for themselves. But we all know that when you're young, you're going to make some choices that are not so popular. You're going to make some choices that are going to put you in some bad situations. And the only way for our kids to grow and become young men and young women and to do things great is let them scrape their knees, is let them sometimes bump their head. You have to allow yourself to do that, because nobody grows with someone hovering over them and keeping them isolated and contained. Our kids cannot grow that way.
Humans don't grow
that way. Animals don't grow that way. When we overprotect, there's things later on that you're going to have to deal with that you probably ain't going to want to deal with. there's going to be things and questions that you're going to be asking yourself. Where did you went wrong? And because you're like, I gave them all everything. I did everything for them. I protected them for this. So you just answered your question. The natural way of learning is through experience.
All day, every day.
So and if you are coming into that place of your kids are growing up, becoming in their later teenager years, and now they're moving out, seniors, and going out into the world, college or military, or they just decide they're going into the workforce and they want to live on their own. What I've learned is that I didn't want it done to me. I was an independent, and I was a type of, guy coming out of high school. I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and you don't know nothing, old person, and everything. So I had to reflect back on that. But what we do is, as parents, we put off our fears on our children. We allow our fears and we allow the things that didn't go so well for us to stifle our kids because we want to protect them from it. Mm. So you got to allow them to grow, and so you don't have a mess on your hand. And even if you do this, you may still have, because again, it's life. And now you're at the door where they're looking back, and you're like, and they're going out the door, and you're like, I hope I prepared them. I hope I given them all the knowledge and gave them the right resources to be able to succeed outside this house and this home. When you try to protect them and hold them, it's because maybe you haven't provided that. Maybe if you're telling yourself like, well, I don't know if she, can do this, or I don't know if he can do that, then what are you telling yourself? Maybe you're questioning your parenting ability. And I'm just being honest. And because we're not perfect
about it, bro. I mean, I'm saying.
So allow your kids to grow, allow them to make mistakes, allow them to bump their head, allow them to feel hurt and pain. Hurt and pain, it will not kill you.
That is the soil.
Allow them to feel hurt and pain.
Yeah.
Because you don't want the first time that they go through something like that is when you're not around. They don't know how to deal with it. They don't have any type of resiliency within them. Let your kids grow. What'd you say about that, man?
It's on the money, man.
I was talking to you going through it, right?
Yeah, I should say, I'm actually going through it because while we're giving our great salutes out to our seniors, I have one, and I'm seeing now the effects of when I say, hey, go fly, do this. It's almost like I just gave him a treasure map, and he's went on a conquest, and he's like, oh. He's like, you can do it. They do your thing. And in my mind, I'll be real with you. I'm thinking, he's going to die. Just throwing it real out there. That's how we think, right? Yeah. But on some real, just being real. Waiting for that phone call or whatever the case is. That's what we do. But that's what, for one, will bring us to, for myself, greater levels of prayer. Because you know what I'm saying? Because I know that I'm not in control of nothing.
Pray over your children.
Pray over your children often. But with that being said, lack of prayer and to trying to help emphasize why we're saying, how to let go and why you should let go. Let me talk about some prime headline stories of where control goes too wrong.
That's what it is.
And it's control. That's essentially what it really is. When we can't let go, we have a problem with control. Let me bring two big names. And this doesn't happen. This happens at many levels, not just the superstar level, but Tiger Woods. I know y'all thought I was going to say Michael Jackson. Nah, I'm gonna hit you with one more someone living. Anybody who's watched the Tiger Woods story on HBO, but by the way, I've seen some other things about Tiger, but I feel like
I haven't. I didn't even know.
Listen, that is I feel like that's the most insightful, well done, and I get it. Some people can argue with me like, these journalists and these docuseries and documentaries, they all just have an objective, whatever. But I think that
actually they do.
And they do. And I think that the objective that they went for was the right objective. And it was to frame that overall Tiger Woods was just a scared little boy still. And they, you know,
from what time? When he was actually an adult?
As an adult, that's inside. Yeah, he really was just a scared and beat up little boy who didn't really know who he was. Yeah. Beat up, bro, because it just took how, you know, his dad like had him with a golf club at like 3 years old. And they said that he wasn't like, oh, this is deep stuff. Y'all should watch it. It wasn't, and the thing was, his dad wasn't like whipping him and stuff. It was just this constant consistency and placement to the sport of golf. Everything that his dad knew what he was doing. And he kind of idolized his dad, right? And now we're going to go into image at a certain point. But he grows up. Now, it hit in the middle of this stuff. Turns out Tiger's dad, you know, he thought he was great and everything and really just wanted to be this great golf player for him. But turns out his dad was a womanizer, cheating on his mom. And then Tiger, as a teenager, found out about it. But at this point, he's like the greatest. Yeah. Like he was already on. He was getting off. Still, dad was in his ear. Still, dad, and he still, and they just showed how like he just idolized his dad, right? Well, we know who Tiger Woods became. However, Tiger didn't know who he was. And how could he know who he was when all he's been told his whole life was, "You're gonna be the greatest golfer that ever lived. You're gonna be this. This is who you are." So now we're seeing a different side of Tiger after he gets married. Now Tiger's at the magnum opus of his career. Man. He don't know who he is. Now influences ain't just for love, but other famous athletes from other sports would see him in these venues, invite him to clubs now. And then they told him, this one athlete told him, "Don't you know who you are? You're Tiger Woods. Greatest golfer that ever lived. You can have any woman out there." Oh, wow. Wait a minute. Now Tiger's sleeping around with all these women and he's married. Now he's got drug problems.
He repeats the cycle.
The cycle repeats itself, right? And now he's getting in car wrecks. He's out in the middle of all this. Now he's also searching for identity. Yeah, he's Tiger Woods. He's the greatest golfer that ever lived or whatever, but he doesn't know who he is. He's empty on the inside. And all that was because he was given a vision and an idea of who he was supposed to be. And really, and here's the thing, a lot of people don't know this. In the documentary, you put it on there. Tiger Woods worked with special forces for like a year to 2 years.
Oh, so
a lot of people don't know that.
Well, I'm sorry. He is right because
he's searching at this point.
No. What I'm saying is, I remember when Tiger Woods came to Fort Bragg, it had to have been 12, 13 years ago.
Yep.
I was here.
There it is.
And I was able, and he came, and he did like a expedition golf tournament or something like that. Yep. I was one of the soldiers. He did a run. He did a run with us. No soldier. We run and all that stuff. He did a run. It was like 3 miles. I remember him talking.
So you saw in real life.
I seen him up front in real life. He says every day he runs 3 miles.
Yeah.
He came back to Fort Bragg also because his dad was in too.
Correct. His dad was actually special forces.
Dad was special forces. Yeah. So he wanted, he wanted to be close and experience what his dad went through.
Yeah.
I remember running.
He was going through a complete identity crisis at this point.
He's in shape. I ran right behind him. Right behind him. And I ain't gonna lie, because he's what, 6 foot, 6. He's
actually a pretty tall guy.
Pretty tall.
And he's more stout than he looks on TV.
He was in his short. I was like, yo, he's pretty decent size, nice built. And he was running. Stride was great.
Yeah.
And you can see that. You can see it. He said it. He was like, this right here, he felt connected. He felt at home.
Yeah.
and everything. So go ahead, man.
No, you're hitting on the right point. That's what he was doing. He was in the biggest identity crisis he ever had. You know, then he divorces his wife. Now,
choice.
Yeah, I was gonna say
she was gone.
Yeah, she was gone, man. So, but to kind of sum it up too, the good news story is when he started coming into who he really was. I love what he's doing with his son. So though his son has naturally gravitated to golf, the way he's approaching golf with his son is completely different.
Okay.
And it's a bonding tool for them versus you will do this. It just so happens his son likes golf. And
because his relationship is different.
I was going to say the golf is actually embedded as their relationship in the golf, and you can see it. Like, and it's funny. Even his son has all his mannerisms, and his son's actually really good.
Because his son is naturally, as natural as a son or a boy, so even like you naturally, your daddy is your hero.
Is your hero, right? Naturally, and so reason why I'm bringing all this up is because look. This is a big reason why we should let go. Your kids automatically want to listen to us. They do. They want to hear what you have to say. But that fear that we have of messing them up, if we don't allow them to become their own person, more damage will actually occur later down the line than it ever would have from those young formative years. So really, these are some, and it may seem like I used a very drastic analogy example, but I'm doing it on purpose because that this is some of the even on a smaller level. Remember what I said about relationship. Tiger now values the relationship he has with his son because him and his dad never at a certain point.
The relationship was kind of frayed.
It was really frayed because he's like, man, my dad ain't this person, but then now became that person, right? And then it's like it just got real crazy.
There's a little bit of resentment there.
Yeah, there's definitely some resentment there. So with all that being said, value your relationship with them you're gonna have to value that more because they have to make their own choices.
I've learned through my experience that the relationship it should be valued.
It has to.
And it's more valuable in having a relationship with your children than having control. And saying and trying to still drive take the wheel and steer the car, and then just having that relationship with them and being able to being there for them. So when they come back and they have questions and they're going through things, you are able to kind of then guide them. You can then be able to have those conversations that you probably necessarily wasn't having when they were younger because you were parenting and you were putting them in because you were trying to keep them safe and protected and everything. Now you have morphed into them being young adults and in adulthood where they are going through the same experiences that you have already been through, and they don't want you to tell them how to do and what to do and when to do everything.
Right.
There's a thing that we have as humans is the independent individuality, and they can't get to who they are supposed to be with someone hovering over them or honestly steering the wheel for them. I've learned this through my trials and my era in parenting. And you have to kind of just sit back and pray, like James said earlier, pray for their covering, pray for their safety, pray for them to have the right discernment, and understand that, God, I know that they're going to go through trials and tribulations. I know there's going to be adversities that they will face, but pray for them to be safe. Pray for them to be able to come out of that and get through that. To the person that God wants them to be. And that goes into what the question of the day is: why parents struggle to let go of their grown children. We actually talked about why. It is a control thing that we have because we allow our fears and we cast them out on our kids. Whatever fears we have, so therefore we want to control them to keep them safe. Or you just feel like you want to have that positioning always of what is it, of being inferior to them.
Yeah.
And maybe you're scared that they're going to grow out of that, not respecting you as the positioning that you have, in their life. But the reality is that what happens is if you allow them to grow and just be there for guidance and direction and love and care, you do gain their respect, and you actually still stay in the place that you've always been, which is their parenting over them.
Wait. Say that one more time.
You do gain their respect and stay in that place of positioning when you care, guide them, and direct them.
Bro, I don't even know if you know it, bro. That's a mass statement.
Okay.
We struggle to let go because parents don't want to lose their position as I'm the parent.
Yeah.
They don't want to lose that position, but you don't have to be afraid to lose that position if you just gain respect first. Mm-hmm. Matter of fact, it can actually increase.
Actually, you're going to gain more.
Right.
I'm going to say this. Man, I know y'all keep hearing me say that, and I'll talk about it on another podcast. Like, I love all my kids, man, and I don't like to be like, put myself in a position of like sympathy. I don't, because it's choices I made. There's consequences with it, and it has put me in situations and position that I'm in. Single parenting, and it's hard. I was a single father for a very long time.
Yeah.
And I had to realize I went through a part of my life that even my kids didn't even understand that I was going through because they were kids.
Right.
And it's not their fault.
No.
I realized just a few weeks ago, that I was depressed. A lot of people didn't even, I went through depression. Y'all gonna be like, what? The things that I did kept me sane. The things that I did kept me going. I indulged myself in coaching. I indulged myself into my Army work and career to hide and mask the things that I was going through. And it was hard in raising two girls and one boy. It was very hard. Not making any excuses. And I did the best that I knew how, like we talked about earlier, and the best that I could. And to provide them of being in a good environment and around good people, and being able to give them the resources that can propel them to be able to have opportunities to succeed in their life. And I struggled because being in a position that I am, scared that they will fall to the society and the world, drugs and pregnancies and gangs and being in jail. I pushed my fears on my kids. And at some points in our relationship, I kind of pushed them out. And then there was a time where they rebelled, and tough love had stepped into play. But I just pray even now that, that they've learned, I was a good example, and they took the good and they were able to incorporate it in their lives. And they continue to do so, to be greater. I told my son off on his birthday, I wanted him to be better than I ever would be, because I'm still, my life is still panning out. And I mean that. Yeah. I truly mean, I don't care if I become a million, all that stuff, and I'm sitting on top of the world, and I still want my son to be a better man than I ever was. And I want my grandson to be a better man, to get better generation after generation. So I know to stay on topic is that we struggle with that, because we don't want to lose our positioning. We want our kids to see the things that we did and revere us with the highest respect, because we have made sacrifices for them, and we want them to be appreciative of the things that we did and not forget. That's why we struggle, and we allow our fears. We put our fears on our children because we don't want them to go through the same thing that we went through. So this is why parents struggle to let go of their grown children. When I say grown, young adults, and even into their 20s. So, and that's hot topic of the day. That's the question of the day. All right. And hey, man, this has been great, man. We're going to go ahead and close this up. I appreciate each and every one of you guys out there tuning in today. Make sure you guys go to YouTube, MRK Dreams Big, subscribe, like the channel. You can catch us on Instagram. You can catch us on Facebook. You can catch us on Twitch, LinkedIn. All of them, man. We here. Real Talk with MRK. Get your coffee in the morning. Yeah, I got mine. James got his. So we hope that we was able to inspire each and every one of you guys. We was able to bring a point of view that made you guys actually think. We was able to start up discussions within your families that are positive, that are good, and on the verge of being able to solve things and put things in a great perspective and light, man. That's what we about, man. Bring a real conversation every day, real lives, two men, two brothers, man. Yeah. Again, hey, I'm Martez, Raphael Kirkland.
I'm James Dale Merchant. And
this is Real Talk with MRK, man. Coffee in the morning, man. Until next time, man. I'm going to see y'all tomorrow, man. It's Friday. Yeah. Tomorrow, Friday. It's TGIF, it's man. Yes, it's definitely going to be fun, So let's go ahead and get up out of here, man. So, hey, I can't even wait, man.